Hey, welcome back to our film race series. I am Brian, and today we're going to talk about gear part 2. Specifically, the exact gear we are currently using for film races. We are currently using the Sony a7S II, and we record onto the Shogun Inferno. Now, we've been using the Sony for years in our professional side in Duo, as well as StarWipe. It's very fast to work with. The sensor is very, very good in low light. It's got a wide latitude, so you can see detail in shadows and detail in highlights. The image quality has just blown us away. It does shoot in 4K. The reason we use the Shogun recorder is because the codec the camera uses to record is not that great. So by recording on the Shogun, not only do we get a really good monitor that lets us do things like lookup tables and like we can make it black and white or apply a grade while we're filming and just to see what it looks like, but we also can record to ProRes 422, which works way better with our editing system. It's a lot faster, a lot cleaner. Also, we record in S-Log2 with the Sony a7 for the maximum latitude and image information, and the Shogun lets us apply a sort of lookup table to that to see what the final image is going to look like after grading. So that helps us make decisions on set. Another thing about the Shogun that's awesome is it does increase your recording capacity. So we have 1 terabyte drives, we could shoot for days and never have to dump, so it's great. Even though we do like to do transfers throughout the day to make sure the footage is backed up or is getting edited as we shoot, it's nice to be able to know you're not having to swap out cards all the time. You can just do really long takes and not worry. As far as lenses, we shoot with Rokinon primes. I rarely take the 50mm off. We've shot entire film races on just one lens, a 50mm. One day was one where everything was a 50mm lens because it just looks great and it works really well with the camera. We also have a 24mm and an 85mm. And certainly on a film race, having a lens that's a go-to for you and not having to switch lenses a lot is great because you're trying to be fast on a film race. You got to be careful when switching lenses. Sometimes you're passing lenses back and forth pretty quickly, so not only do you save time, but you also save the risk of breaking your lenses if you're trying to be too quick. So it's nice to have a lens kitted up, ready to go. You can transport it in the car, fully built camera, and just keep shooting. But we use GoPros. Sometimes we'll shoot with the Insta360 One X2, which is a 360 camera, which can give really interesting kind of looks to your footage. On Freeclimb, because it fit the story, we used iPhones and let Amanda kind of tell the first portion of her character story as like a vlog. And it helped us not only get through the content faster, but kind of really create that defining moment where it looks so different when she's kind of like talking to camera, and then when it clicks over to like DL on his Ronin, it like feels like a movie all of a sudden. So it created that contrast in the tone of the story. Currently for audio, we are using the Zoom H5. Find someone who is tall, people that are quiet, people that are patient, and we'll hook them up with the headphones and let them do sound. For microphones, we have a matched pair of Octavas. They're really great. A little noisy outside if you're not, so we always make sure we have a proper windscreen or a dead cat, really keeping those hands steady on the boom pole. But the Octavas is what we're using right now. They sound really good. Lighting we keep pretty simple. We don't have a lot of lights in-house. It's a great time for cheap lights, so we use Neewer panel lights. They're on Amazon, they're super cheap, and they do a really good job. Quick and easy, and they're battery powered, so you can go in the woods and shoot at night if you want to. Sometimes we do rent lights, and when we rent lights, we go for like a light panel or the Gemini, which we use for capsule. It's really bright. We use the firework effect on that one. We use the photography effect, so it's fun to have a light that can do more tricks. Really gives you one more tool to work with. I like natural lighting a lot, so we'll use bounce cards or shiny boards and things like that as well. And another reason we really like the A7 is because it does really well in a lot of lighting conditions, but also low light. You can use natural lighting so much easier. So like a single window and like a reflector, and you're good to go. Cost and time aside, I've just always preferred natural light when I shoot, so it's kind of a win-win. For peripherals and extra things, we have a pretty standard tripod, a Manfrotto. For moving the camera around, we have the Ronin M. It's kind of sized to fit a smaller camera like we have, and it really kind of replaced dollies for us. Like on some of our older film races, we rented or built doorway dollies with tracks, and they worked really well for the longest time because Ronins didn't exist. And now the Ronin exists, that's basically our dolly track. It does get extremely heavy after doing it for 8-10 hours nonstop on a film race, but you know, when you get in post, the effort is worth it. I mean, the value of having like a single powerful tool like that on your set, like a Ronin or a drone or whatever it might be, is you can be fast and also get really dynamic shots that are also very smooth and fluid. So it helps you to, you know, avoid that trap of just locking your camera off and letting the action play out, which is okay if that's what you're going for, but it really keeps your film dynamic, even just a subtle floating frame. So thanks for watching. Comment below, tell us what kind of gear you use, and if you have any questions, please ask. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.